Joe Biden is not up to this situation. Apparently last week he said, we got to put Donald Trump in the bullseye. And he said, oh yeah, well, I said bullseye, but I didn't say crosshairs. Just go away, you stupid old man.
King Charles is making headlines once again, this time for reportedly reaching out to none other than Donald Trump. Meanwhile, across the pond, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are said to be struggling to find their place in America. Are they feeling lost? And what does this all mean for the royal family? Buckle up, because this one's going to be big.
Hi all, Kinsey Schofield here. I am with everyone's favorite, Kevin O'Sullivan. Kevin, I have people messaging me all the time asking when you're going to be back. You're the it guy on Kinsey Schofield Unfiltered.
I think we're the it people, Kinsey, you and me. What a team, eh?
I love it. So I wanted to talk to you. There's been so much that's happened, both royally and politically, since we last touched base on this channel. There was an assassination attempt of my potential president, my former president.
What happened? No, I mean, what a story! What a hell of a story! But let's do that in whatever order you want to do this. But we must talk about that extraordinary event.
Well, I want to talk about the king sending a letter to Donald Trump. But first of all, where were you when you found out that it happened? What was your first reaction? It's
coming back to me in a sort of haze of alcohol. I wasn't that drunk, but I'd been out on Saturday. No, it wasn't that bad. I'd just been out for dinner with my wife on a Saturday night. So we came back home reasonably early, as you do, and we had the TV on. And I'm a bit of a news junkie, so I don't watch normal programs. I just put news channels on. And it cropped up that suddenly, and I said to my wife, Henrietta, I said, oh my God, look at this. And I could not believe what I was seeing. And still, you watch that footage back again, you can watch it. I mean, how many times have we all seen it now, particularly people like you and me, Kinsey, people in the news business. I must have seen it, I'm not kidding you, 100 times. Every time I see it, it still shocks and amazes me. One of the most astonishing bits of footages I've ever seen in my life. And then, of course, devolving down to that iconic picture afterwards, the still frame of him punching the air with the security, Secret Service guys and women all around him. And I put on Twitter straight away, that is an image for the ages. That is an all-time classic image, and this is the picture that will win Donald Trump.
Let's start with the big news. King Charles reaching out to Donald Trump. According to reports, there's been behind-the-scenes communication between the British monarch and the former US president. Now, what could this be about? A diplomatic move? A personal favour? Or is King Charles simply ensuring Britain's ties with potential future US leaders remain strong?
The election. It was like Iwo Jima. It had an extraordinary similarity to the soldiers raising the Stars and Stripes in Iwo Jima. And so the whole thing is, it's just, what's amazing about it is it's got everything. It's got this defiant, proud, dignified, courageous man, bleeding, punching the air, saying, fight, fight, fight. It's got the security agents with their sunglasses looking classic, trying to protect him. By the way, all too short to do that properly. And then, of course, against that beautiful blue sky, the Stars and Stripes flag. It was just the perfect picture. And the Democrats must have taken one look at that and said, do you know what? We might as well keep Joe, because if we put God Almighty up against Donald Trump now, he would still lose. Donald Trump is the next president. And frankly, I'm like most people. I don't know what you think about him. I was always attracted to him because I'm a journalist. He's a great story. There's something very funny about him. And I actually like quite a lot of his policies. But, you have to have your reservations about Donald Trump. But I saw him on Saturday, and my entire opinion of him changed. I am impressed by him. He was incredibly impressive. What a man. What a man.
I mean, Meghan Markle could learn a lot from Donald Trump because, unrelated to what happened on Saturday, I covered him years ago, and I covered the 2016 election, but we had all of these stories where he pretended to be his own publicist. And he would ring into the newspapers and I've got a scoop for you. And there are recordings of him I can't remember the name he used, but pretending to be this fake publicist,
that.
linking up. It was, so when you say Donald Trump is funny, that's where my mind goes. But on Saturday, I was so upset. I was especially upset because I seeing the video without audio. Once you hear it with audio, it just totally tears your soul out of your body. But I also have been reading Maureen Callahan's new book, Ask Not, The Kennedys and the Women They Destroyed. And in that book, they talk about the shooting of JFK, Jackie's reaction, sitting in the hospital alone, drenched in blood, and just...
Some believe Charles is trying to navigate a complex political landscape, especially with the UK facing economic shifts and global instability. Trump and the British royal family have had a complicated history. He visited Buckingham Palace in 2019, meeting the late Queen Elizabeth II, and even praised her as an incredible woman.
Hours later, handing a piece of his head to a doctor that walks past her. So you just think about worst case scenario, the conversation you and I could be having right now. And no matter what you think about the man, thank God this was not such a tragic situation, because quite frankly, the security wasn't good enough.
Oh no, that's extraordinary. Kimberly Cheetle, the head of the American Secret Service, has got lots of questions to answer. We don't probably want to go into this too closely at the moment, but incredibly, she's been on American television and was asked the obvious question. That roof that was 130 yards from where the president was, where Donald Trump was, why didn't you put agents on it? Why did you not protect that? She said, well, it's a health and safety issue because it was very slopey, it was slanted. Really? If that woman does not lose her job, then America has become a country that I no longer recognize as the great country of America. She must be fired. And do you know what her big obsession is? Diversity, equality, and inclusivity. Her big project is to make sure that 30% of all secret agents are women.
Are short?
Short? This is serious. Yeah, this is the thing. And guess who got her the job? Guess who is also obsessed with DEI? Dr. Jill Biden. It's her big obsession.
President Jill Biden?
Yeah, President Jill Biden. Lady McBiden. She got Kimberly Cheetle the job. Now, Kimberly Cheetle has to go. And, I'm all for equality and for women getting the opportunities they deserve. I'm all for that. I'm not necessarily against diversity. But when it flies in the face of common sense and efficiency, it's just so frustrating. And the problem with Donald Trump after he was shot was that those agents, half of them were women, they were too short. They're supposed to tower over him. They're all up to here. That's why he was able to punch the air. Now, if that sniper was still in action, Donald Trump is dead because the secret agents are too short.
If you watch the Reagan attempt in 1981, one of the security guards comes behind him and almost tackles him like a football player. And that really can only happen if that person's taller than you. Reagan, a very tall, handsome actor, a very tall man.
Yeah.
So, I just think it's efficiency. I appreciate you using that word because that's really what it should all boil down to.
But not everyone in the family was thrilled about Trump's presence, particularly Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Meghan has been vocal about her dislike for Trump in the past, which brings us to our next segment, Harry and Meghan's ongoing struggles in America. Harry and Meghan struggling in America? Once hailed as the fresh, modern face of the monarchy, Harry and Meghan's American dream seems to be hitting a rough patch.
Yeah, these people are there to protect the lives of candidates, of presidents, of politicians, of the people they protect. And if you are choosing people who are too small, by the way, again, I don't want to be cruel about people who are overweight, but a lot of them didn't look to be in very good shape to me. So you've got unfit, short people doing a job they're not suitable for, they're not qualified for, except for in the wonderful world of diversity, equality and inclusivity, where we'll give this job to, the fat, short lady. I mean, it's more than unbelievable. It's infuriating, and it is endangering the lives of people. That woman, Kimberly Cheadle, has to go, and even more questions have to be asked of Dr. Jill Biden. And by the way, going back to your point about the number of presidents and presidential candidates over the years who've been shot, what did Joe Biden say afterwards, addressing the nation? This kind of political violence is just unheard of in the United States. Really? Really? You tell that to Abraham Lincoln. You tell that to JFK. You tell that to Ronald Reagan. You tell that to Roosevelt, and so on and so forth. The list
when JFK's nephew is currently running for RFK Jr. lost his father and his uncle to political violence.
Yeah, exactly. So once again, Joe Biden just emerges from this near catastrophe. If Donald Trump had been shot, it would have had awful ramifications for American democracy, for Western democracy. It would have sent shockwaves through the world. Thank God that guy missed and only hit his ear. But Joe Biden is not up to this situation. Do you know the way I see it now? By the way, moving on, what about that thing when he said, apparently last week, he said, we got to put Donald Trump in the bullseye. And he said, oh yeah, well, I said bullseye, but I didn't say crosshairs. Just go away, you stupid old man. This is getting ridiculous. And here's the deal. What is quite clear to me, bearing in mind,
from their Netflix deal drama to declining popularity, some insiders claim they're feeling lost in the United States. So are they really struggling? Or is this just media spin? One thing's for sure, the royal brand doesn't carry the same weight in Hollywood as it does in London. The bigger picture, royal family in crisis. With Charles making strategic moves and Harry and Meghan facing an identity crisis, the question remains, is the royal family in crisis?
As we're talking just towards the end of this astonishing, almost spiritual Republican convention in Milwaukee. I mean, my God, you couldn't have written it in the stars. It's been just mesmerizing to see. In 3 weeks' time, almost less than 3 weeks, you've got the Democrat convention. Frankly, Kinsey, I don't think the Democrats have got time now to replace Biden, and I don't think they care anymore. They think we might as well have this bumbling old idiot because we're going to lose anyway. As I said earlier, if they put God Almighty in against Donald Trump now, he would lose. It's as simple as that. So I suspect that Biden will retain the ticket because the Democrats just don't care anymore because they know they're doomed to lose. And frankly, with that old man in charge and the way they've disgracefully covered up for his senility, they deserve their fate.
Yeah, it's interesting because you're seeing the first response to this change in tone. You know, Biden can't be as vicious anymore when it comes to Donald Trump. He has to change his rhetoric, especially when he talks about how the Republicans have to change their rhetoric. But he did a conference this week where he basically accused Donald Trump of racism, saying that something Donald Trump had said about black jobs. And Biden said in front of a group, I think this was an NAACP event, he said in front of the group, you know what a black job is? It's the vice president. You know what a black job is? It's the president of the United States, Barack Obama. And you're just thinking, this is not a card you're going to win. Donald Trump, I don't think anybody looks at Donald Trump and sees racist. You know, I just don't understand.
No. You see, the thing is, Kinsey, that the Democrats, led by Biden, who's an aggressive, angry old man.
Is King Charles trying to solidify international support while his son distances himself further from the monarchy? What do you think? Is this just another royal shake-up, or is there something bigger at play? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm reading all of them. Call to action. This is a story that's still unfolding, and we'll be keeping a close eye on it. If you want the latest updates on the royals, world politics, and everything in between, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.